Well, hello, everyone. This is John Burnham with Poets and Quants. Welcome back. Today, we are celebrating Olin Business School at Washington University in St. Louis. Olin, for the third time in a row, has won our ranking for the best MBA program for entrepreneurship. And we have three very good reasons right here with us today to demonstrate the incredible depth of the entrepreneurship program at the Olin Business School. All three of my guests are current MBA students. Each of them is a member of the class of 2022, meaning that they will not graduate until next year, yet each of them has their own business. How about that? So let me introduce each and every one of them, and then we'll get into our discussion. We'll go with Rhonda Smith first. She's the founder of a company called Nourish STL, which is a line of locally grown, chef-prepared, ready-to-eat meals made in St. Louis, of course. The organization promotes food from farmers in Missouri and Illinois and transforms it into quick and nutritious meals that go from freezer to table in minutes. I can't wait to hear what your best-selling items are. We have Kai Shalarud, who is the Chief Financial Officer of Sling Health, which is a network of medical bioengineering, design, and entrepreneurship incubators at top universities around the country. And then we have Lloyd Yates. Tillman Tech is his company. It's a company on a mission to reduce online retail returns by building a virtual mall that uses sizing and the internet to basically bring products to consumers. Their mobile app will allow shoppers to have a stored sizing profile with us, all done through self-recorded video, which allows customers to shop confidently without the stress of choosing the right size. Now, for those of you who have awkward sizes like me, this could be a real big benefit. We'll find out how each of these entrepreneurs kind of got, turned on to these ideas. Let's just start with the real basics here. Rhonda, let's start with you. I'm assuming that you've always been interested in entrepreneurship. Why did you decide to start your company? And why did you think that an MBA was an ideal way to basically go about it?
Thanks, John. So I'll start this out by just saying I'm a career switcher. So I'm going from a career in public health and public policy. And in the nonprofit space, all we do is create like entrepreneurs. We're always trying to solve hard problems with few resources. So I feel like I was well primed for this pathway. Nourish STL came about right at the beginning of the pandemic when basically the food chain just stopped. When schools stopped, when workplaces closed down, when events closed, everything that was in the food system just stopped where it was. And there was thousands of pounds of food rotting in warehouses across the country. Having worked in the local food system for over a decade, I wanted to try to find a way to help farmers. And so I partnered up with a chef friend of mine, and we came up with this idea of creating nutritious, healthy, delicious, ready-to-eat meals. We were able to preserve the food by freezing it. So we would make the meal. Our most popular one is chicken tikka masala, crowd favorite. And then we would freeze them in these flat packages where you can just stack them up in your freezer, pull them out, have a quick meal. So it really worked out well for consumers who are also afraid to go to the grocery store at times.
Great idea. And I love chicken masala, so I got to try this now. Absolutely. Lloyd, tell us about your idea and how you basically found it and then decided to go get your MBA at Olin.
Yeah. So I think an MBA at Olin was a pretty easy thing for me to decide. So I think maybe different from my classmates here, the decision to come to Olin stemmed from my athletic background. So I was actually recruited to come play football here. But then when I realized what else Olin had to offer, it was really kind of a no-brainer. And once I saw how entrepreneurship was taken so seriously here, the plethora of different resources for people to start their own businesses, it was, like I mentioned, a no-brainer. So I came here with my business. So I had a men's accessories business. So I was selling neckties, pocket squares, etc. And the whole goal of coming here was to scale that business. So at the time, I thought that would be the transition to make really well fitted suits, right? Really well fitted suits using sizing technology, augmented reality. And I wanted to sell it, these awesome well fit suits from a mobile storefront in an electric van that was really upscale and luxury. But I think if we're going to talk about Olin and why Olin is #1 in entrepreneurship, one thing that's always workshopped in entrepreneurship classes is the problem. Like, what problem is your business solving? And it was really apparent at the time, or not at the time, but now, that the problem we're really solving is sizing. Sizing is the #1 driver for online retail returns. So utilizing the sizing technology that we were making for well-fit suits, we realized that we could use this to really tackle this grander problem, since fashion is the #1 shop category online. So for me, I came to Olin with a business, and it's been a continuous journey to kind of pivot and find my true grounding, which is finally come to fruition.
Okay, so Lloyd, I'm curious about your background. Are you from the Caribbean originally?
Yes, you can tell I'm at home right now. No, my background. So I'm from Chicago, but from Chicago, grew up in a family where education was really important. And a part of education was showing up with your best self. So it really stemmed from this kind of long-standing history that I had with my great grandfather. He was a railroad porter. And I guess really quick history lesson, railroad porters, they served aristocratic people on Pullman trains and so forth and so on, but they had to be really well dressed. They had to speak really well, and then they kind of always carried themselves in this manner. So that's been kind of passed down throughout my legacy, which is why I've always wanted to kind of, be in the fashion industry in some regard.
Cool. Now, Kai, you are CFO, Sling Health. Tell us a little bit about that and why you chose to go to Olin for your MBA.
Absolutely. Yeah. And thank you for having us today. So my journey here was a bit of a roundabout one. I actually went to medical school back in 2017 after graduating from WashU for my undergraduate studies. So this is not my first time here. I went through my medical training and eventually saw that there were so many problems in the healthcare industry that need to be improved for the sake of benefiting patient care as well as the physician lifestyle. So I decided in my 3rd year of medical training that I had a kind of a decision to make, a fork in the road, so to speak, where I had to convince myself that I was okay with all these problems existing in the world and go on with my life doing what I sought out to do, or I had to build out my toolkit with some other degree, some other education, so that I could learn how to deal with the problems that I saw in my everyday as a medical student. So ultimately, I decided to apply to WashU and WashU only, literally the only school I applied to for the MBA. And I said, if I get in, I'm taking a leap of faith and I'm doing this, and I'll take some time off medical training and go back when I'm done. If I don't get in, so be it. It's not meant to be. So I came here and I had all these ideas in mind of things that I wanted to improve in the medical field and the healthcare industry. And it got to a few months through courses over the summer, because we started in June. And I noticed that this awesome program existed here, Sling Health. It was founded about 10 years ago. And I'm actually here at WashU in pursuit of kind of my own ideas for my entrepreneurship journey that I want to help with. And so the mission of Sling Health really aligned perfectly with that of my own. I went on to reach out to Sling Health and I said, hey, I have this idea. I want to get involved. What can I do to help? And they said, well, actually, we're looking for a CFO. Do you want to interview for that role? And I said, I don't know. That's not really why I was reaching out. I kind of have my own idea that I want to push forward, but sure, why not? Let's give it a shot. So I was onboarded, and there was a very steep learning curve during that training process, not from a typical business background. Quickly learned some accounting, quickly learned how to manage finances. And here I am now 4 or 5 months later, doing both sides of the entrepreneurial journey, supporting other entrepreneurs through Sling Health, where we support their journeys, give them the resources, and carrying out my own project as well. So it's nice to have my hands in both hats.
And you're probably getting a lot of fast learning as a result of that position. Kai, I wonder what stood out for you in the entrepreneurship program at Olin?
Yeah, so I knew a bit of the history of the accolades and the success of the program in past years. And truly the biggest reason why I was attracted to WashU is because of the comfort level I had from being an undergraduate. I knew that in only 1 year program as a condensed dual degree student, I do the MBA in just 1 year, I needed to hit the ground running right off the bat. So between the support I got from the admissions people in the MBA program to the entrepreneurship success in the past, it was a very easy choice.
Good to hear. Now, Rhonda, what resonated with you in terms of the entrepreneurship program at Olin?
So Olin actually wasn't my first choice because I'm still paying for my first 2 master's degrees. And how I ended up here was I decided to take advantage of the B and MBA for a day, where they allow you to come on campus and sit in classrooms. This was pre-COVID. And so I came to a lecture by Sergio Chayet, who runs the operations and supply chain platform, and was just blown away by the quality of the teaching, by the responses from the students, by the interactivity of the class. And so I had to make a quick pivot at that point and work with the Olin admissions office to figure out a pathway forward. Knowing what I know now, I would 100% do it all again. This institution is incredible. For entrepreneurship in particular, Doug Vilhard, the director of the platform, he comes with so much real world experience, and he is an excellent teacher. I recommend the Intro to Entrepreneurship class to everyone in every platform because as my fellow students here alluded to earlier, a lot of startups are solving with a solution in mind. They haven't actually determined a real problem, and Doug walks you through that process step by step by step, all the way from that idea stage to full launch. So to have all of those resources and help and mentors along the way, along with people who challenge you to change your ideas and change your business, it's just, you can't find anywhere else like it.
So Rhonda, it sounds like you were hooked twice. Once when you went for MBA for a day, and now as you're taking Doug's classes in entrepreneurship at the school.
Yep, that's right. They got me twice.
So Lloyd, how are you using the program to kind of refine your idea? You came into the program with your business, and I'm sure that there are lots of opportunities to improve upon what you've already done. Can you share with us a little of the sort of give and take that you're having with professors and maybe your classmates, and how it's informing your view of your business?
Yeah, it's been really remarkable. I'd say just the exposure itself, right? Just getting your idea exposed, getting feedback. Another thing that's really taught in the entrepreneurship program is feedback, right? Getting yourself out there as quickly as possible, getting feedback. So just this whole process, right, of from really honing in on your problem and having a clear problem statement that that is tangible, right? Online retail returns, to then ideation and creative solution phases, which for us would be a mobile app that serves as a virtual mall, to getting feedback to, and another thing that I think wasn't touched yet is the WashU Network, right? WashU is a very reputable brand, institution, university, and there's a lot of really awesome people who are tied to the university and affiliated who, knowing that you're a WashU student, you're a WashU MBA, you're a WashU person just trying to start something really influential or innovative, they're willing to reach their hand out and help however they can. If that's an introduction to somebody, if that's an hour meeting, whatever it may be. I've literally met nobody in the university who's not willing to help if you ask.
Yeah, I think that's a really strong network. I have made this comment before. I've been all over the world, many cities, many business schools, over many years. And I've got to tell you, the St. Louis business community is among the tightest knit, most supportive, generous, and helpful communities I've ever encountered. And I really mean that. I've met a lot of CEOs of companies in St. Louis, and boy, they know each other, they support each other in a way that is rare in business. Now, Kai, you are working on your idea while also having this role as CFO of Sling Health, plus getting your MBA. I don't know how you handle all that at one time, but can you tell me a little bit about your business without revealing too much, perhaps, because maybe it's under lock and key a little bit?
Yeah, it sounds like a little earlier stages than my peers here, Rhonda and Lloyd. But basically what my team, our team's called Speak Information Technologies, or we call it Speak It. What we are doing is trying to increase efficiency of physician workflow in the electronic medical record so that those physicians can then spend more time with their patients and ultimately provide better patient care. So truly focused on that problem mindset. If you look at the data, it shows that physicians are most burnt out by the amount of time they spend in the electronic medical record. So again, going back to how things are taught here at Olin, really that problem first mentality, fall in love with the problem before you move on to the solution. And so that was the approach we took, and things have been moving very, very quickly, which is exciting.
Give me an example of how the school has helped you in just thinking through the challenge of building a company.
You said, give me an example of a time. I could give you many, many, many more than could ever be filled in this 30 minutes. I would say the entrepreneurship resources here are so vast. There's the Scandalaris Center. There's Doug and all the classes he offers. There are additional entrepreneurship professors that are located literally all over the world with such a diverse set of experiences. So for me personally, I'm involved in the medical entrepreneurship space. Sling Health is my kind of hub where I like to go to. But for others, there are plenty of resources to round out any interest. And to give you a specific example, there was a conference I went to, one of the largest medical technology conferences in the world, actually, out in Boston just a few weeks ago. And the school provided not only the time away from my classes to go, but they also supported my journey in connecting me with network while I was out there. I'm not from the East Coast, so I didn't have that network, but it was extended to me on behalf of the school. It was a wonderful experience, and I could not have done that without the support of WashU.
That's a great example. Some people may think, oh, well, that happens at every school. I just got an email from someone, I'm not going to name the program, who has an incredibly demanding job. He's in an elite part-time program. And the program requires one long weekend immersion that starts on a Friday. He can't get off from work. And they're actually telling him, guess what? If you can't come, you have to extend the time that it takes you to get your MBA by a year. They won't even give him one day off, okay? So I want to emphasize how unusual that kind of support is. And it tells me a lot about Olin, but it also tells me a lot about the whole St. Louis culture, ecosystem of entrepreneurship, and how people are encouraging to others that want to do something special. Now, Rhonda, you did a great job of describing your business idea at Nourish. I wonder if you've had a challenge that you brought to the school and workshopped it with your professors, either Doug or maybe your classmates, and how they helped you sort of grapple with that challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it's a double-edged sword starting a business before you come to your MBA program. I think it's great because you have already faced so many challenges that you don't know how to solve. And the life of an entrepreneur is really like, I just have to do the best I can every day with the information I have, right? Like, people I know, reach out to your network, find the support you can, but you have to make decisions every day, whether or not you feel qualified to. So I think with Nourish, the business formally launched just 2 months before the MBA program started. And so specific things that were extremely helpful were thinking through different ways of marketing, really strengthening our B2B business. We were starting out B2C. And then after taking some classes and talking with Doug a little bit, I just realized there was a lot more opportunities in wholesale than we had previously thought. So I was able to reach out to our local grocery cooperatives and small shops in St. Louis and ask them if they would carry our product, which then allowed us to, access their networks of customers versus us finding the individual customers. So that was incredibly helpful for us.
I bet you wish you had all the benefit of an MBA, all the skills, all the networks, all the advice, the coaching, the mentorship before you started your company. Am I right?
I think it works both ways. I can only speak from my experience, and I can say, having been up against that wall myself where I just had these unsolvable problems, I feel like it really increased my attention to everything that I was learning in the classroom, because I had that experience to draw back on and say, oh, I know exactly what kind of problem we're trying to solve with this. And I think, maybe you can speak to Kai about being in it and starting a business, but that was my experience.
Yeah, that's great. Lloyd, do you have a similar kind of challenge that you've been grappling with that the school has already helped you with?
I think a pivotal point in kind of my entrepreneurial endeavor was earlier this year around January. So we were really fixated on this idea of the electric mobile storefront. It's an electric upscale Sprinter van, customized, and we're going to make you this awesome fitted suit with this really kind of modern technology. And I think it was one of those moments. I had a meeting with Doug, and he was like, you'd hate to spend, $100 or however much money, thousands of dollars on this van if you can accomplish the same thing on your phone. And that's when he really got me thinking, and I was like, man, I would really hate to invest heavily in this project just for it to be obsolete in a year or two, because everything we do is mobile now. So I think that was a really pivotal point in kind of my journey, was that conversation.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people who become entrepreneurs on their own, who don't have basic knowledge of marketing, strategy, operations, finance, accounting, and think they can be the next Steve Jobs. Well, if you think you can be the next Steve Jobs, fine. You may not need an MBA or the basic skills to run a business, but those skills are going to be incredibly useful to you, along with all the great advice you're going to get on the journey. I mean, here's a great case where Rhonda and Lloyd brought their business to almost kind of workshop it in their MBA program. Kai brought his idea, which he's developing at business school through his MBA program. You vastly increase the odds of your success by gaining all the support, all the encouragement, and tapping into all the resources a great school like Olin provides. I wonder, there's this age-old debate that some people say, hey, if you want to start a business, don't go and get an MBA and go into debt. Use the money that you would spend on tuition as your seed capital. I think that doesn't recognize all the benefits of nurturing, cultivating, and germinating a company in a business school environment. But I wonder what each of you may think of that. Kai?
Yeah, that brings up a funny example. This was on one of the very first slides of, I think it was the entrepreneurship platform here at WashU. There was this chart where it showed the timeline of a business development and a person's willingness to give up equity in order to get funding and support their business. And the chart shows that if you have 100% of a company worth $0, that's a lot less than if you have 10% of a company worth $1 billion. And so it kind of resonates with me in that way, where you have to be willing to kind of put boots on the ground and seek out help from other people while you're going on this journey, really for the sake of supporting your own future success. So in that sense, going to get the MBA, paying that upfront tuition is like giving up that equity. You're getting the resources, the support, the future success. Sure, it's a smaller share of that future success because of the upfront cost, but your company being successful is reliant on the skills you learn here. So in that sense, it's critically important.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. And of course, the benefit of that is you're not really giving up any equity at all.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So when you do succeed, you're not going to have to hand over a percentage of your success to someone else, which is a lovely idea. Now, Rhonda, what's your take on this? I wonder if it sounds to me like you got a great mentor in Doug already. And when you have someone who's already been there and done that, that adds a lot to your ability to move forward more quickly, right?
Absolutely. And it's not only Doug. As Lloyd and Kai mentioned earlier, the entrepreneurship department, they put you in touch with experts in your field. We've had people from Patagonia, from Macy's, from the big CPG companies come in and give us their time to help us with our business idea. So I feel like that's incredibly special, and it goes beyond just the faculty.
Yeah, including your classmates, I'm sure, who are a terrific resource and probably future customers, if not customers already. Let's ask each of you, what advice would you have for someone who's considering an MBA in order to either scale or start a startup? Lloyd, what's your advice?
Yeah, I think this is a great question, just because I think it's very variable and circumstantial. But in my perspective, it was kind of a no-brainer, right? Just being a minority business owner, getting an MBA already establishes more credibility on my behalf alone, right? So from that standpoint alone, it's kind of a no-brainer. But to what Kai and Rhonda have already alluded to, where all these other kind of added benefits and bonuses of getting an MBA from the actual curriculum of learning accounting, finance, strategy, learning the basics, having the entrepreneurship program right there along with you in this journey, helping you out, the added network. I think honestly, the decision to get an MBA, if you're considering entrepreneurship, would be a great decision. And I would recommend it, I would suggest it. And I think it's also, if it's something that a prospective student is considering, not really sure, I think it's a great safe space to kind of embark on this endeavor than when you have to be out there with other kind of obligations and priorities. So it gets my recommendation.
Kai, what's your advice?
Absolutely. And just before I go there, I want to say one other quick thing. An individual we haven't mentioned that's functions a little more behind the scenes here at WashU Olin for the MBA program is Ryan Edwards. And she absolutely deserves immense recognition for the network she provides to us, all of the help, all of the emails she sends to keep us on track. It is invaluable. And so for any MBA student at any school, identify that person, the Ryan Edwards at your institution that is willing to provide that network, those resources at any moment. She is amazing. My advice to any future entrepreneur, I would say it's a quote for me personally that is kind of the motto I try to live by. It's burn the boats, which essentially means if you're trying to conquer an island and you take your boats, you go across the sea, you land your boats on that island, you're ready to conquer it. Before you do that, turn around and burn your own boats. There's no way home. You're only going forward. That's my advice.
I like that. Now, Rhonda, do you have advice for would-be entrepreneurs who want to think about an MBA to help launch or scale their companies?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been all over the place with my nonprofit career. I have a master in public health, a master of science in nutrition, and I loved my work in those fields. And those work in my fields have contributed to the creation of my CPG business. What I'll say about the MBA is it brings so much added value to your life and to your future earnings that is 100% worth the cost for all of the learnings that you're going to have and the network that you're going to build, whether you decide to start a small business or not. This is a great, safe way to do it. You'll have all the help and support you need. But even without that, it's a great investment in yourself.
And then let me add this one thing. Rhonda, why Olin?
It's the quality of the program. It's the diversity of the students. It's the rich experience. I told you they hooked me when I went in and sat in a classroom to have that kind of back and forth experience between the students and the teachers and see like the depths of study that everyone was contributing to that learning environment was just incredible. I knew I had to be part of it.
Kai, why Olin? Kai, did you hear me? I asked why.
First of all, look at all these backgrounds. Can you hear me? Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm cutting out. Okay, sorry about that. First of all, I would say look at these backgrounds. If you haven't noticed, this is the WashU campus. Pretty incredible place. But far beyond that,
I've spent a lot of time on that campus. It is a beautiful campus.
Oh yeah, truly. But I would say it's the real world focus of what we learn here. Going back to the problem, everything we do touches back on something you can apply to your real life. And something I really like about Doug in particular is he tries to take jargon out of our talks, out of our pitches, because that's business people speak. But in real life, you're talking to everyone. So if you start using terms like willingness to pay and this and that, no, just the costs. What are you willing to pay? You know, keep it simple. And we do that in everything we do here at Olin. I love the real world applicability, and I'm already recognizing the benefits.
Lloyd, your turn. Why Olin?
Yeah, not much to add on from that, but hope to not be cliche, but just the people in the Midwestern hospitality. It's really nothing like it.
All right. Well, listen, it's been a joy to hear your stories. I wish you the best of luck on all your enterprises. Each of you are doing really exciting and interesting things. And my goodness, you won't even graduate until over a year from now. So, forget those big six-figure jobs. You're going to have a real big impact in the world by what you're doing. Lloyd, Rhonda, and Kai, thank you so much for joining us on our roundtable. And for all of you out there, thanks for watching. I want to remind everyone about our earlier announcement today, which I think is super cool. It's the WashU Olin Big Idea Bounce pitch competition powered by Poets and Quants. We're looking for ideas for new organizations, be they nonprofits or for-profit mission-based businesses. And we're looking for people who want to enter our contest. It's really simple to do. You do have to be a current graduate business school student or undergrad, or a prospective graduate business school student. You submit your idea by text, and then you'd be invited to record a 2-minute elevator pitch. And you know, the carrot that we're dangling in front of everyone is $50,000 in seed money. That's a lot of cash for a newly created business. I think Lloyd, Rhonda, and Kai would love to have that 50 grand. And actually, I think all three of you are eligible to enter this contest with your own ideas, because after all, you're all current students. So there you have it. All right. Well, thanks again. It's been a pleasure. John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Thanks for watching.